Why don't I put Kobe in my all-star teams? The answer is simple: shooting percentage. I look at shooting percentages, and his shooting percentages are pretty good, but they're a notch below Larry Bird in his prime. They're a notch below Jordan for sure. They're a notch below LeBron. They're a notch below Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Michael Jordan all had superior shooting percentage, and that matters. It doesn't matter. Well, Kobe did it like this. Look how Kobe did this. Kobe scored all these points, but it matters how many shots you miss. And on the average, he missed more shots than those guys. So there's a lot of players who, if you look at their shooting percentages, we like the way their style, they look good on the court, and but you go look at their shooting percentage, and I have to say, no. Certain players like Allen Iverson, there's other ones, but it's real simple. It's shooting percentage, and I can still put Kobe in there sometimes, uh, and people say he's clutch, and maybe he is, but like when you look at LeBron James, we make him sound like he's not clutch, but if you look at percentages in the fourth quarter, his are better than I think better than Michael Jordan's, and that's maybe because he didn't take the clutch as many times, and he took sometimes tried to make the wiser move, and sometimes he overdid that, and then he had an easy shot and would pass the ball. But because he didn't force it as much, maybe that's why he has a better percentage. And I might still want to give Michael Jordan the ball, maybe even Kobe the ball, in a situation where they're going to be double teamed and think they're going to and think they have a better chance of making a shot when there is no shot. You might feel that way. I might feel that way. But it matters how you manage the game. And maybe LeBron's, he was good at dunking the ball. So those are high percentage shots, and that helps his percentage. And he also managed the game well and didn't play. So this is another reason I don't put Kobe at the front. He's not my favorite. Even Jordan, I have to question ball hogging sometimes. I like the way LeBron James spreads the ball around. However, with Michael Jordan, it wasn't much debate. His percentage shooting is so good that you know you can also look at it from this angle, that if he passes the ball to somebody else, then there's a bigger chance they miss it than he misses it, and so the team percentage goes down. But LeBron took those chances, and let's say if LeBron shot as many times as Jordan or Kobe, would his percentages have gone down? I don't know. We don't know that. I know he won one championship doing that, and I just looked at all these guys' percentages, and that's why I haven't talked about LeBron in a while, and I've just compared Larry Bird. I've had Larry Bird up at the small forward, and Magic Johnson and LeBron. I was debating between putting which guy I put at point guard. I ended up putting Magic at point guard, and I put LeBron James at power forward. And so you still might want Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, or Bill Russell, or Dirk Nowitzki at power forward. But LeBron's actually grades out his highest rated position when he would play it was power forward. He had the best rating from that position. So, but he didn't play it as much. I think he did play it a lot in Miami, if I recall. But Dwayne Wade's shooting percentage is higher than Kobe Bryant's. I haven't gone back and looked at Clyde Drexler's again, but I'll look at his. I'll look at Grant Hill's, and shooting percentage to me matters a lot. And that's really, to simplify why I pick certain players. That's why. And when I looked back at Larry Bird's today, he didn't have he had a lot of years where his shooting percentage wasn't that good. And that may be in his older years, some of it. And Kevin Durant not is better than Larry Bird according to shooting percentage, and it's substantially better. So is Kawhi Leonard, and so is LeBron James. And so, but Bird was good for a few years there. So I was about to end at 5 minutes, but I'll say how my memory serves me. I just go to Wikipedia, type their name in, and go to Wikipedia and look at career statistics, and then my memory's not the best, so I go back and then you. It's funny because some players they have a year where they might have 3 years even where they had good shooting percentage, and then one year they didn't. And I'm thinking, what happened this year? Then they had it good again, and some of them don't have it good again. So it's like, how many years did he have a good percentage? Larry Bird for a while had just as good a shooting percentage as Jordan and them. So when it comes to Bird, at this point, after looking at shooting percentage again, I have to put Durant and LeBron and Kawhi Leonard above Larry Bird, and because of shooting percentage. The same way I do that with Kobe. But when it comes to shooting percentage, it kind of comes down. Kobe and Larry Bird are actually similar types players. Uh, Kobe's athletic, but not as athletic as Jordan. So some could say Kobe's more similar to Larry Bird, claim he's not athletic, right? But he's athletic, obviously. He's not, he's not. What do you call him? Anyway, I forget, some comedian. Uh, I forgot his name, but some guy from like 30 years ago. But well, we'll say Don Knotts, and that's some more like 50 years ago. But Don Knotts doesn't seem to be an athlete, but Larry Bird is he is athletic. Maybe Don Knotts is athletic. I don't know. But Pee Wee Herman is who I was trying to think of. A guy named Pee Wee Herman. Larry Bird's not Pee Wee Herman. He's athletic. But in comparison to some of the best athletes in the world in basketball, they would say he's not athletic, but he was aggressive though. But so, and he's quick. He was pretty quick at his size, 6'9" or whatever he is. But Larry Bird's shooting percentage edges out Kobe Bryant. So if it came down to Kobe or Larry, believe it or not, on the defensive rating chart, I have to go back and try to remember some of these guys. Larry Bird rates higher, I think, ranks higher than Kobe Bryant, and maybe higher than Jordan. I forget. It's been about 2 years since I've looked at the defensive chart. But the defensive rating chart, the one the computer does, the computer has a formula and does defensive ratings of all time. And the best defenders of all time were David Robinson and Tim Duncan, well above Akeem Olajuwon on the defensive rating formula by the computer. But Hakeem's above Kareem. He's above Shaq. And then he's near the top. But then you got, and then there's like a guy that's not as well known, I forget his name, who is actually higher than Tim Duncan and David Robinson. But as far as all the well-knowns, they're the highest ones, and they're well above. I think they were like 94, and Hakeem might have been 98 on the numbering of defensive rating. I forget now. I mean, I don't know if it's 94, but it was somewhere down that low. And the best one ever was like 93 or something. And then Jordan might have been 102 somewhere. It's pretty close. I'm just giving you, these are reasons I select my players on the All-Star team. Magic Johnson didn't have the best defensive rating, but he's higher up the chart than you think. However, he's among the most steals of all time, and his shooting percentage is really good in the 50s. I could look at Charles Barkley, and Charles Barkley has one of the best shooting percentages, better than all of them, I think. And so the question with Charles Barkley is his defense, and do I want a small power forward that's only 6'6"? He doesn't look 6'6". Maybe he has long arms too, and I hadn't studied that, but he definitely was one of the better power forwards of all time, one of the best. And people may take him off the list because of his size and because he's inconsistent on defense until the fourth quarter, apparently. And but he may be one of the better defenders in the fourth quarter. So Charles Barkley's right in there, and it's just, I guess you could say, inconsistency in size and his position is what holds it back. I'm going to stop before 10 minutes, but I gave more info than I wanted.